Hi, this is Chris with Syracuse Music Collective, and I'm on the line with the legendary Michale Graves. How's it going, Mike?
Going good.
So, you just kicked off your tour at the beginning of the end tour, for this fall. I know you're only a couple dates in. How's it been so far?
So far, so good. We actually only played one show. Tonight is show number 2 in Portland, Maine, which is where I'm en route to right now.
Awesome. Now, the beginning of the end tour, I mean, you're pulling out all sorts of really cool stuff. Like you're doing your era of the Misfits stuff, some new songs, and Rarity, which is, if I heard it right, full makeup and everything.
Yeah, that's true. That's all true.
Awesome. And let's see, what else we got? Now that you guys also just put out, World Turned Upside Down back in August, and the general theme with it and everything. How was it going into writing that one different than the previous release?
Writing the World Turned Upside Down record was different. I guess for a couple of reasons. I recently relocated to New York State, and I live on acres. I live in a very, very simple old farmhouse, and where I live is very close to a spot that I spent a lot of my childhood, the location really had a lot to do with who I am and what I became, and so being up there and creating in that place was very inspiring. So there's a lot of that part of me which goes back to my childhood in that record, as well as I really wanted to write something that was blatantly Americana. If you listen to the record and and from the music to the lyrics, it's very the only word I have is Americana. And again, a lot of that has to do with my time in Arkansas, as well as where I live now, and just kind of who I am. Very simple life, simple folks. There's a lot of dirt roads and corn fields and stuff around me, and so yeah. So it was definitely a departure from writing the horror stuff, which I'm back to now, touring and playing all that stuff.
Right, and you just mentioned that you were, there's a difference from writing the horror. What do you find easier to write, the stuff that's closer to your heart or the horror stuff, or is it both easy to write?
Both have their challenges. Okay. When I write the horror stuff, the way that the formula is an old classic horror movie, and I research it and extract the allegories that the writers, the producers, the directors of the film, of the story that we're trying to come across in that film, and then I form my song around that and try to make it relevant to current day things and try to make it relevant to my life. So both things are a challenge. When I'm not writing like that and I'm just writing from my heart and soul, that's challenging too, because there's a vulnerability when I or anybody does that. When you open yourself up like that, it's a challenge.
I imagine so. Like for example, it's like if I were to try to write something exactly how I'm feeling, it'd probably to me it probably look good, but to someone else it probably look kind of like, oh my God, what is he talking about? So I definitely can understand the challenge in that. Not to mention putting those feelings out there for everyone to take a look at, or even see what they take away from it as well. Sure. And then you mentioned you're back in New York now in farm. Yeah. You don't mind me asking which area?
I live in the mid Hudson Valley, like Catskill Mountains.
Oh, nice.
Right up by Greenville, East Durham, Saugerties.
Oh, I'm definitely familiar with that area. I'm being from Central New York myself, definitely familiar with the areas.
Excellent. I love it up there, man. I love it.
If I could, go up and live, and if I'm, even though I live in the city, of Syracuse area, trust me, I love the quiet, and I definitely love getting out and away from everything, because I need that decompression myself, which I can imagine you would as well.
Indeed, indeed. And I have children as well, and to be able to raise my children in that type of setting is a blessing.
Oh, nice. Now, let's see. So speaking of, you're pretty busy. You have multiple projects that every time I look around, I see you either doing some Mark and Ramone stuff, your Gotham Road, your solo, whatever it may be, and I would imagine you're quite busy, taking up a lot of time and being on the road. What would you, in your opinion, what are some of the best parts of being on the road, as opposed to your least favorite parts of being on the road?
The best part of the road, by far, is being with my friends. Especially being with my band, being with my guys. I love the camaraderie. I love being with those guys. I also love, first and foremost, even more so than being with my boys, I love being with the fans. I love meeting the fans. I love spending time with people when they come up to me. As I always say, I'm very, very accessible. When you come to a Michale Graves show, I'm not one of these guys that sits in the green room. I'm out around. I run the merch booth most of the time, and I talk to everybody. I love hearing people's stories about how the music connects to them and what it means in their life, and I love that. I love that human connection.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the best part. The worst part, by far, is having to say goodbye to my children and being away from them. Man, it's really, really difficult. Really difficult.
I could definitely, I understand where you're coming from on that. I have a 6-year-old son, and when I'm out on the road doing my thing, covering shows and concerts, it does tear at you a little bit, especially when, when I have to look at him and he goes, "Oh, you're going away again?" And I'm like, yeah, but I'll be back, I promise, soon.
Yeah.
So I definitely, I feel that. But fortunately, as he gets older, I can bring him out for, onesie twosie type shows to, cover, and he's really down with it, even at the age of 6.
That's great.
So it's, one of the things I had read was that, you consider yourself kind of like a guerrilla-style chef, and then you could pretty much whip up anything. What would you say is your signature dish, or, what would be the one dish that people or your bandmates or family know you for? Like, that's the one that Mike makes.
Shoot. I make a really mean chicken burrito.
Nice.
I make everything. Like I said, I'm a guerrilla chef. So I'm like your old school grandma, where there's just you open the refrigerator and you're like, what in the world can we ever make out of all of this? And I'm able to put it together. It's really great. I'll be honest with you, I've only really started to focus again on cooking in the past year. I used to be like a big thing in my life that I really love to do, and my brother's a chef.
Cool.
He's a professional chef. My brother actually knows what he's doing. But I've had the opportunity again. I've had a lot more time at home, believe it or not. So I've really made it a point to try to cook again.
Nice, very cool. I like cooking a lot as it is. I'm usually one, I'll sit there and try to plan stuff out and just kind of go to town. If I'm the first one home after work, boom, I'm in the kitchen doing it. No questions asked. I'm a master with pork and steak, and I do it all. Awesome. Now, another question I had for you is, what artists or bands, are you currently on your radar? What are you checking out these days? Or what bands catch your attention, or musicians?
Nobody. I listen to the same stuff that I always have. So when I'm listening to music, it's the same stuff that I've been listening to, for a while. It's also, it's tough. I can't find, and I haven't found any, punk music or new music that I'm really into in quite a while. No, I stick with the stuff that I know.
Gotcha.
And the people that I work with that are in my circles, when they write new stuff or put stuff out, I check it out. But I think that people would be surprised, if you were able to come home with Michale Graves for a couple of days. The life that I lead and the person that I am is very, very different than that character that's in people's minds, and that's okay.
Right.
It's so yeah. It's the same old. You know what? It's funny. I make everyone laugh. They ask me about new music and stuff. Again, when I'm home, I especially in the summer, I get to spend a lot of time with my children, and they always want to listen to Kid Bop. And so, I know. I'm so, I don't even know what I'm listening to, but we listen to it so much. I'm well versed in, I guess, all the pop crap that's out there. I know all the songs. So I apologize.
No apology needed. I gotta tell you a quick story if you want to talk about Kids Bops there. My son, like I said, he's 6 years old, and he's been, this whole summer he was on the road with me and my wife, and I remember sitting there and I like teasing him too. I'll go, hey, Kids Bops is playing over at the lake field. You want to go? And the look on his face is priceless. He gives me this nasty look, and he goes, no. He goes, I thought you were taking me to Metallica. I'm like, I am taking you to Metallica. He goes, all right, then I'm not going to Kid Bop. Don't even say it. I'm like, and of course, we're sitting there, my wife and I looking at each other going, yes, we're doing something right. He hates that stuff.
Right on. Yeah. But, my God, I have two girls and I have a little boy.
Right.
So I think the girls' musical taste is well rounded. We listen to a lot of Kid Bop. They like. They're big Guns N' Roses fans. They love Aerosmith. They love Jane's Addiction. The Black Crowes. They dig the Crowes, and they like Michale Graves. So we're okay.
Yeah, definitely. Well, here's an interesting one. Instead of reflecting on the past, and where do you see your music, or where do you see yourself going in the next 5 years, going forward? Just out of curiosity.
Well, I think I'll always be. I'll always write music. It'll always be a love of mine. I'm really continuing to make the pivot towards video and producing and creating and being part of more video projects, film projects. I'm doing a lot more writing, longhand writing, not musical stuff. I'm working on my book. So I'm really doing my best, and I pray to the Lord above that opportunities will continue to come my way as I go forward in my career, where I can lessen the time that I'm away, lessen the time that I'm out on the road, even though I love it, and I love to come see everybody. But I think that it's important for myself and for my children and my family that I spend more time at home. So,
right.
I've been on the road pretty much for 20 years. I'm 42 years old. I joined the Misfits when I was 20, and we started touring. I was still 20 years old. I turned 21 on our first European tour. So I've been doing this a long time, and so I'm really carving out a path that will keep me home. And I'm really working as well to be behind the camera more and behind the audio desk instead of the one that's you know, I like working with younger bands and younger artists and helping them bring their visions to life.
Awesome. Well, speaking of, before I let you go, do you have any advice or anything you want to, if you were to give advice to aspiring young musicians, what would it be?
Well, as always, whatever you do in your life, you gotta be true to yourself. I always say that it's very important if you're going to be an artist, a writer, that you have to have the brains to power that. It's so important to have a certain intellectual part of you, especially if you want to write punk music. There's an intellectual part of it that's certainly missing. The more that you know about yourself, the more you know about the world.
Oh, I think I'm losing you. Yep.
You got me?
Yeah,
yep.
I lost you for a second.
The more you know about the world around you, the better you're going to be able to translate what needs to be translated into music, into that medium.
Yes. So, all right. I wanted to say, again, thank you for taking the time to speak with me, and everybody take the time to come out and see you. You're doing 80 cities this time around, and catch you on the road. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us here at the Syracuse Music Collective.
Oh man, thank you very, very much. I appreciate the opportunity. God bless.